I'm back, and as promised, I moved my camera down to the bottom right corner, so now you guys will still be able to see my mini-map. It's not that it's that important to see the mini-map, but
the sanctity of this place has been fouled.
That voice you're hearing is, of course, the hero of the first game. It's the exact lines they said. And in the first game, you could choose between a mere 3 classes: the warrior, sorcerer, and rogue. Oh wow, so much lag. But the canonical hero of that one is the warrior character.
Blinding powder.
Because we're told in the second game that it was a warrior who, after what had happened, could barely lift the weight of his own sword. And in the second game, we're told that he wasn't just a warrior, but that he was a noble of some kind named Aiden, who I think he might have been another prince. Oh, I know why it's lagging so much, because I picked this character. I'll get back on Diablo 1 story in a bit, but for those who don't know the monk, especially the Monkey King set of the monk of this game,
the storm breaks.
The Monkey King set makes so the swirling winds thing, sweeping wind ability, as long as I remember to set it in the first place, will continuously build up as long as there are not enemies around me. Oh wait, no, I don't think that's from the Monkey King set. I think that's from my helmet. No, my helmet's what lets me do the bell at any distance instead of just right in front of my face. Let me take a look at my gear for a minute. Oh yeah, it's my belt that gives me eternal sweeping winds. It gains 2 stacks every second if it is not dealing damage to things. And what's letting me... Oh, I probably have it on through my cube. Yep, the Soak Kieran's Grace lets me do my Wave of Light wherever I want it. Oh, I could really do with a better jewelry item. I could probably do without the bovine bardish, though. As you can probably see, I've put a lot of time into playing this game that I may not should have. Okay, just trying to see. Oh, that'll be helpful, actually. Being able to just run straight through enemies. I don't need to kill everything in here. But no, this makes it, if I do run close to enemies, my sweeping wind is going to pop up decoys next to them that blow up. This also makes my Wave of Light eat my swirling winds to cause more damage. But the parts that are causing a lot of lag are probably the bovine bardish spawning them cows, the swirling winds just in general being up. Well, all this while I'm recording, mind you, because it's not normally this laggy just playing on a... Oh, sorry. And then on top of that, my Hellfire Ring occasionally spawning a pool of lava when I hit things. Now, if I remember correctly, there's nothing special on the first floor of the labyrinth. So I'm just gonna kill my way through them. I think I hear Kisa talking from the bedroom, but she's probably talking at whatever she's playing or watching instead of trying to get my attention. But I'm gonna get to the second floor of the labyrinth because I want to get at least to the butcher, maybe to the skeleton king before I've finished out this section of video. Because, yeah, like I said when I was talking about people downing on this event, for the mechanics being just another greater rift. Ooh, a named guy, Shadow Bite. Okay, that's not a story named guy. I'm gonna try to catch anything I can of story, which there are also things put in for into this event for flavor that are not story, just memorable things about the first game. Like you saw me pick up a King's Sword, I believe it was of haste. The King's Swords of anything were
Your strength
the King's Swords of anything were basically the prime weapons people tried to collect unless they wanted a yellow in their hand. Because in Diablo 1 you only had three rarity values. White commons, blue magics, and yellow uniques. And rather than the procedurally generated uniques we have now, they were specially crafted, specific stats. Some people find that boring. It was at least reliable. You knew that if you were getting an item, that if you did get a yellow item, you knew what stats it would have, and that those stats would in fact be pretty good. Why didn't you guys die?
The storm breaks.
I hit you with a giant bell of fire. Okay, but now I completely lost where I left off on the story, but I probably didn't leave off anywhere. We're gonna try to find the butcher through all this lag. Maybe I'll figure out how to record this game more smoothly if there are future events that I find worth recording.
The gods strike through me.
Ugh. But for the time being, I will fight through lag for you guys. Ugh. Ain't no lag slow enough. To keep me from killing you, baby. No. No. I'm sure those of you who are watching this are not watching it to hear me sing badly. What is this? The Dark Passage! Okay, this Dark Passage relates to the Tainted Well quest that you'd get from Pepin in the original Diablo. And essentially, you found this passage.
Your flaws are revealed.
True to the original game, the passage is on the second floor of the labyrinth. And after you kill all the demons here, the tainted water becomes clean again, which appalls Pepin. It worries him greatly that the mere presence of the demons caused the waters to become fouled. That's the level of corruption these guys bring with them. And while I'm breezing through this, because I've got a character with a full 6-piece level 70 set and sets in Diablo 3 are horribly overpowered. I'm also only on Torment 4, which this guy can handle up to Torment 6 without too much difficulty, but I think that would cause even more lag, and so I don't want to. There are those elitists who get really good at just speed running everything and try to farm the best gear ever. They'll usually... I've not seen any of them play. I don't want to, but I've read comments about Torment 12, Torment 15. I wasn't even aware that the difficulty levels went up that high, because the cap you can see in the difficulty select screen is 10. I don't know how they even get those higher difficulty levels. Maybe they're unlocked after you've killed Diablo on Torment 10. I don't know. I might go do that because I do have a character that can handle Torment 10. A character that can handle Torment 10. Barely. Like, barely. And that tells you exactly how much they put into trying to murder everything and not get into any of the environment or story or anything. Speaking of environment and story, blood smear at a door. This was so ominous in the original Diablo. You see, the whole game franchise is kind of a mix of both horror and dungeon crawling, but the horror aspect has been weakening with each release. A friend of mine actually complained about that, and I argued with him to no end that it's still scary. They just changed the delivery method of the scary, giving the bosses these intros to show why they're scary rather than to let your mind draw the conclusion yourself just from seeing it. But it was a pretty effective method, just having this door here, and then when you suddenly open it, you hear the voice of the butcher, which I hope I've got the volume high enough for you guys to hear. I don't know. He says, "Ah, fresh meat." Terrifying.
Fresh meat.
Ow. And see, even with me being overgeared for this difficulty level and not really feeling safe here. I mean feeling too safe, auto-killing everything else. He wiped out over half my health in one hit. He's not just a strong boss. Back in the day, he was a scary boss. And I don't think I'm going to find any upgrades for him in this run. I just like to check my items to make sure. Another reason why I picked one of my level 70s instead of starting fresh was because of the fact that there is something later in here, another throwback to one of the quests in Diablo 1 that yields a lot of gems. Back in Diablo 1, there weren't gems, so the quest didn't reward it. The quest just rewarded the ring. Which, by the way, yeah, the quest for cleansing the well rewarded this ring, the Ring of Truth. And I forget the exact stats that it had back in Diablo 1 nowadays, and then there's the Butcher's Cleaver, of course, that drops off of the Butcher every time in this game, but in Diablo 1 it was... Actually, I think in Diablo 1 it was a guaranteed drop as well. I'm just... Ooh, what is he? He is Broken-Hearted Bang Shield. Not a significant named NPC, just a named NPC. Another King's Sword of Haste. And for those who didn't play the original Diablo 1, the key items of end game gearing, the King's Sword of whatever and Godly Blade of whatever, and well, this isn't one of them. But they didn't drop anywhere near this often. There were people who'd farm for days just trying to get a Godly Blade of the Whale or a King's Sword of... me personally, I went for Heavens, not Haste.
Your strength fails.
Because Heavens was a plus, I think it was 5 or 10 to all stats, and that was kind of overpowered if you could get Heavens on all your gear. Basically, your character's actual stats didn't matter because of the fact that you had so much boosted from your gear, which is more the direction that the newer Diablo games and World of Warcraft are going in anyway, where the base stats of your character don't mean anything really, because the majority of your stats come from your gear. And I know they got to make the gear relevant, but is it possible to make it relevant without making it overpowered? Is it possible to make it so that just out of virtue of playing a particular character type, you have a significant strength in a good area? Okay, that's not actually a spot I can go to. Yeah, I like to ask these questions because I don't like games being too gear dependent, but at the same time, I don't like any element of a game to be completely and utterly irrelevant because you had to go out of your way to weaken it to make other aspects of the game more prominent. It's kind of like the random number generated loot drops. I don't want them to rule the game, but at the same time, there is a certain thrill. Oh, there's a certain thrill to getting a random piece of loot that you may or may not have been expecting. Now, here we are at the actual goal I had for this episode. We've reached King Leoric's tomb. And in the original Diablo, you heard... The frightening aspect was before you even see the dead King Leoric rising up to attack and kill you, when you enter the tomb, you already get his aggro quote where he says, "Who dares bring the warmth of light into my tomb?" Well, warmth of life into my... I misquoted already. Who dares bring the warmth of life into my tomb? Prepare yourselves, mortals, to serve my master for eternity. And then, of course, he laughs, because King Leoric, the Skeleton King, laughs a lot. And it's always at us. Me, you, whoever's playing.
Kill then steal, or steal then kill. This fight is over.
I'm wondering if I really should have my scoundrel with me. He might not be doing much damage and might just be causing more lag. I could dismiss him back to town. I think I'm gonna do that.
Stay in the shadows.
He's also talking a lot, which that's supposed to be my job. We can't have a helper stealing my job. Now, as elemental ally, I'm keeping him because he does. He, she, it. I think the elemental allies, mystic allies, appear modeled after your character's appearance. So, might be female if I were a female. I don't know if I were playing a female monk. My female monk's using the Inna's Mantra set, which I didn't want to use her because of the fact that I anticipated even more lag with her, since that Inna's Mantra set makes 4 of these elemental allies following you around. Anyways, enough about that. Now we're going to fight this Skeleton King, who has an army of skeletons that are going to cause even more lag. And I would like to say that this is the most laggy that this video is going to get, but it's probably not. It's probably going to get a bit more laggy. There we go. Killed him with bells. I know, not frightening because the character's overpowered and can handle it so easily, but
Your strength fails.
considering I didn't know how the recording process would go with this game when I started, and also considering that the gems that I mentioned before, I didn't want to start fresh with level 1 because I didn't know whether I'd be able to handle it. But yeah, so we downed the Skeleton King. I told you a few short stories. I've got a few more left for you, but the real fun one isn't until the end. That's not to be clickbaity. That's because it's not relevant until the end. One of my friends actually witnessed that story happen, and He had no words. Kind of like the guy who lost his thesaurus. But I'm going to I'm going to cut off the video here, and I'll be picking up again right after this with the next one. So, bye for now. I'll see you in 10 seconds.